I had to wait a few days so that I could talk about it, but I think I've composed myself, hopefully. Sorry if my emotions do get the most of me, but here's my thoughts on the outcome of the Scottish independence referendum. I'm still absolutely heartbroken. I'm finding it so difficult to understand why 55% of the voting public of Scotland didn't want independence. However, we are gradually all starting to become one Scotland again, and I'm sure it'll be fine eventually because we are united in the fact that we want one thing. We want change. In the last week, I've gone from tearing up with pride to crying in absolute devastation. But this definitely isn't over for the 45%. We're going to try and grow something a lot bigger. There's already some people that are regretting voting no because we've already had promises that were made to us broken. I was, still am, and will be part of a movement of pure hope for Scotland. I'm just really disappointed that we were let down by half of the country. I really thought Scotland could pull through on this one. I spent a couple of afternoons and evenings in George Square, or Independence Square as we'd called it, and I've never experienced an atmosphere like that in my life. From every single person there as well. We were so hopeful, so proud, so united in our decision for independence, just so passionate and so friendly. Now these video clips I'm about to show you will never do the feeling justice, but I just wanted to show you some of the atmosphere that wasn't shown on the BBC and the vast majority of all other media outlets. She's not getting up! Fuck yes, parkour! Holy shit, that's amazing. How fucking high? And to see the no vote winning after that, it just made it 100 times harder. We were let down big time by our country. I'm still finding it hard to process why some of my friends and family did vote no, but that's probably just because I do feel so passionate towards independence. Everyone seemed to have their own reasons, and I just still don't get them. Because it was mainly fear, media bias and misinformed pensioners that won this campaign for Better Together, and see now that it's over, I can say I'm absolutely disgusted with some of the methods that they were using for campaigning. Clearly scaremongering works, and calling scared pensioners to tell them that their pension wasn't safe. And pensioners only know to get their information from the BBC and newspapers, and when both are reporting unbelievable bias in favour of the no vote, then we really had no chance with them. Westminster better start delivering on some of the promises that they've made. I just can't believe our country would vote against something that would change our nation for the better. Even if it doesn't directly affect you, you need to notice a cry for help. They see the 4 districts that voted in favour of yes, they are 4 of the poorest districts in Scotland. They need help, and 55% of voters failed to see this. When I spoke to some no voters about their reasons for voting no, a lot of it came with the word my. What's going to happen to my pension? What's going to happen to my mortgage? And to be fair, they weren't really given the straight answer that they needed to reassure them, but they also didn't have faith in Scotland. We have all the resources that we need to be one of the most thriving countries in the world. How can you ignore that? I just find it so unbelievably selfish to look out for yourself over so many more in need. And with this no vote, we've just signed up to hold on to weapons that we have absolutely no need for. Possibility of a Tory government, possibility of privatised NHS, cuts in healthcare and education already, illegal wars, then worst retirement and pension ages. But worst of all, we've basically just signed up to keep up to 1 million Scots in poverty. Obviously, I'm not saying if you voted no, you don't care about these things, but we didn't exactly vote to show it. In a 21st century developed country, we should not have families dependent on food banks for food. Like, how is this us better together? 1.6 million of us, yes voters, are wounded and completely disheartened with the result. Like, the words of groundskeeper Willie, "Damn Scots, they ruined Scotland," have never rung so true to us. But this has sparked something. We're going to use this and we're going to win the next referendum, because there will be a next referendum. Alex Salmond, Nicola Sturgeon and the rest of the Yes campaign fought so hard, and they got 45% of the voting nation to dream, so it's not going to go down easy. I will always back Scotland in its fight for independence, and the next Generation Yes as they're being known, they will be right by our side. The worst part about the no side winning was what happened the night of the result in Glasgow, when the absolute minority scumbags came out in full force to celebrate their arse-kissing of the Union and ended up rioting. They intimidated the Yes voters and they undermined one of the most democratic decisions we've ever made in Scotland, even if I'm not happy with the result. But this wasn't anything to do with the people that did vote no. This was just the pure filth of Glasgow coming out. They don't represent anything in Scotland but pure stupidity. This loyalist scum chose to vote with their football team and their religion as priority. They're Scotland's shame. The Yes camp were chased out of our little Independence Square. There was riots in the street. They were fighting amongst themselves. How do you go out to celebrate and end up rioting amongst yourselves? The police were absolutely swarming Glasgow, but well done to them, because they prevented it from turning into something so much worse and they kept Glasgow safe. Yes voters were told to take off any badges and stickers just for their own safety that night, because satires were being burned. Racial and homophobic slurs. There were people making Nazi salutes, and then just chants of, you had your chance and you fucked it up. You can stick your independence up your arse. Well, you can fucking stick this up your arse and stop breeding other mindless, selfish scum. All of this when the same place, 24 hours before, we were peacefully sharing in hope with other families, with children still. And then they had to go and ruin this. I can't even imagine the reaction if they'd lost. I tried to find a news channel that was broadcasting something about the riots, but no one was given a true representation of what was going on. Like, you need to give the information to the people that were heading out that night. It's just not safe for us. And I turned on to the BBC for a second when they were interviewing a man in between, just constantly talking about Alex Salmond stepping down. And the guy said that this was the end of an era for Scottish politics and that it's going to be a lot quieter now. Is it? Fuck, you will not silence us like that. So I'm going to end it here with one of my favourite pro-independence opinions that I've seen. The old betrayed the young, the comfortable betrayed the poor, and the powerful betrayed us all. I'm going to provide so many articles and links below. Russell Brand had some brilliant opinions on it. All of the different independence movements from Scotland have said some great things, so any more information that you could want to see. I'll put in some videos about the riots as well. As much as it's disgusting to show this off about your city, like, you really have to see what we had to deal with that night. Now, I previously said that I really love being Scottish because We know how to laugh at ourselves and we can use it as armour, but I really feel like the rest of the world's laughing at us now and we can't defend it. We gave up independence. We're Scotland, the shitebags that gave up a chance to be free. I'm still finding it hard to forgive, but we will get another chance. We're going to step up, we're going to do this again, and we're going to do it right.
What do we want? Independence! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Independence! And when do we want it? Now!
Because idealistic people spoke up and other people fought for those things.
I just love people getting together and being free, and that's what it's about. So
Free the unicorn!